Sammy was an athlete.
She could jump over her foot.
Yeah, she could jump, but she was a good dancer.
I remember certain things. She could jump over her foot, and she could make banana cream pie. She didn't bake, but she could make banana cream pie.
But she was a good cook.
She was very simple but good.
Shit a rind. She would shit a rind, just like.
She would just because my dad was just meat and potatoes.
She made wonderful brisket. She made wonderful.
Oh, I loved her
pot roast.
brisket.
Yeah.
Oh.
She just didn't bake. She wasn't a baker. But Boo Boo didn't either. I don't remember Boo Boo or Sissy baking at all. Yeah.
Look what you just did.
Well, it's supposed to stick on there.
So, what do you all want to say about your sissy, your big
My
sissy?
big Sissy. She was the one person in my life that I felt, it may not be the truth, but I felt totally loved by unconditionally. She was the person that I was closest to in all the world.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were her shadow.
Well, she wanted me to be her shadow. That was the amazing thing. You know, most older siblings don't want their younger siblings, but she wanted me there with her. And when we got older, and I didn't always want to be there with her, just because I had, you know, my life was very different from hers. And so I didn't always feel real comfortable around her friends. Not uncomfortable, but not, you know, I didn't have anything to share, I guess. So I think her feelings got hurt sometimes. They had nothing to do with her.
What about you, Bubba?
Well, for me, I mean, she was like a second mom to me, but she wasn't. I don't know how to say this. She wasn't motherly, but she tried to make sure that I had good advice. But she was always there if I needed anything too. I mean, because I was in a unique situation for my situation, and so she was always concerned for me.
She's kind of like the backup.
Yeah, kind of the backup. Yeah, that's good way to.
Well, family always came first to Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
I think
she was always there.
Yeah, I think for all of us, though, all four of us, the defining moment in our life was passing away. Our dad. I think it's always probably so in any family, but I think some families are just prepared better to, you know, go on. But for us, it was, for our family, it was just,
Our lives took a totally different trajectory.
yeah,
Probably would have
if
he had lived.
yeah, I mean, totally. Completely. Education, religious observance, financial, of course, emotional support.
Right. My mom couldn't even talk about it like shortly before she died. I asked her, I said, Mom, maybe you need to talk about it. She couldn't even talk about it. She started she felt guilty. She felt like because she married my dad, when I know it was in her own head. And it would have been really nice for her to have been.
My dad didn't like that, and he had his reasons, and they weren't the reasons why a lot of people said, but that's not why he died.
Right. But she felt guilty. She had that in her heart and her mind. I think
I
so.
felt guilty too, because I was away at boarding school. I came back and he had pneumonia, and I couldn't go visit him in the hospital. And the day he died, I was argued with my mother because I wanted to go to Ruidoso with my boyfriend. But we thought he was getting better. That was our understanding. He was getting better. But he knew. I think he knew, because he had said something to her that day that was kind of foreboding.
Gosh, that sounds so similar to my mother's. How she knew she was going to go, and I was going to Ruidoso with my boyfriend when she was having her hysterectomy, and she was upset because she wanted me there. And I was like, Mom, you're just having a hysterectomy. Why are you? It's a very common, why are you acting? And I came and saw her as soon as I got back. Yeah, interesting.
So was it the hysterectomy they took out her spleen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They didn't tell her?
No, I think they took her spleen out.
Oh, no, 2 years before. Yeah, the gallbladder. Thank you. Yeah, it was the gallbladder. Yeah. But she thought, she was very fearful that she wasn't going to make it out of the surgery. She had this ominous, and she called my brother and I before that surgery and said, you two respond to my email asking what you want now. And she was totally uncharacteristically demanding of us.
It's like she had a lot of things in order.
She did. She did, which is true to Shelley, to have things in
She
order.
even had that card for me for my birthday that you sent me.
Sorry, I didn't. But what about Mike? What about Mike? What do you all?
Well,
He was my playmate. He was my playmate. I mean, but I was terribly hard on him as a child, when I was a child, not when I grew up, but as a child I was very hard on him, and I would tease him a lot. But he was my playmate.
And in a lot of ways, Mike was my dad, other than Uncle Al, Mike was my
Male
role
figure.
model. And we had a lot of the same interests, but at the same time, as he got sicker and sicker, it made it harder and harder. And the way he and Mom would argue, and the drinking and the pills and things like that, it just was very difficult.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for him, but at the same time, I didn't like him very much.
Sure.
I still loved him, but
That's very
His
hard.
illness really made it hard to have the relationship with him that we wanted. But no matter what he did, we just always loved him and accepted him. I mean, I hear about families, they just don't talk to each other anymore because of somebody does something terrible. But for us, I don't think that was even, it wasn't even anything on the
we never
on the
shunned him.
menu.
or
It
anything.
wasn't anything. There were times I had to say I've got to go, Mike, but there were never times when I would
I just watched the other one.
Ignore.
ignore. I just that wasn't on the menu for us.
Yeah, why?